Hey guys, what's up? It's Dean, Kylie, and Jamie coming at you live from all over the world on this beautiful Monday morning. Well, afternoon for me. How you guys been? We just spent a little bit of time catching up. I'm always going to say this. I love Mondays. Mondays are great. We get to catch up, see what happened
Mondays
on the
are
weekend.
good.
Yeah. Dean looking bronzed as usual. He says it's
That's right.
too hot where he is. Is that true?
Yeah, honestly, today I was melting my tits off. Seriously, it was that hot. I think now it's kind of the case of between 12 and 3 is like, do not go to the beach unless you've got an umbrella because you're gonna burn. So I felt like I had butted the sun. It was that hot. I was just dripping.
Where are you?
I'm in Mallorca.
Mm-hmm.
So Ireland, Spanish Island, quite close to Ibiza. Well, next door. Yeah.
Nice.
The bright note is, Dean, that you're looking all bronzed there, as Jamie said, and you get to wear a vest for our viewers. So, I mean, they get to enjoy your tan.
Yeah.
You're just a creature that just keeps giving, aren't you?
I don't know. There might be some complaints. Ofcom might shut us down. You know what it's like out there? People get offended by anything, you know. Just make sure I put nipple tape on so there'll be no nipples on show. How about you, Kylie? You in your pajamas again?
Cheeky bugger. It's a shirt. Bloody outrageous. Yeah, it's pretty warm here in the UK. I'm pretty sweaty. Unfortunately, unlike I don't have a
it's like I have that effect. I have that effect on most women, don't worry.
Oh, we haven't even started yet. Unlike Dean, though, I don't have a beach to go to, so I can't cool down.
No.
Jamie, how do you cool down?
Yeah, I got I put my head in the ice box.
That was pretty awesome right now.
We have an amazing lake here. Well, it's a river that's been dammed up. And it's called Kootenay Lake, and it's about 30-second drive from my house, and it's like we got a nice beach in the city and just like huge mountains towering over it, and it's like the water's cold right now because of all the runoff. So doing any sports in there, you probably want to wear a wetsuit, but it's like on a hot day, it's so awesome just to like dive in. Yeah. Usually when you get to July, like the top like 2 feet of it, you'll feel like the top 2 feet are warm, and then you dive down and it's cold. So it's like it gets to be swimming temperature pretty quickly. But,
I wonder where our viewers are, and if it's hot where they are. I guess for most people it's going to be hot. Yeah, put in the comments where you are and if it's warm.
Yeah.
Tell us how you're
cooling down.
Cooling down. Or warming up, depends. Guess where you are. So yeah, put in the comments. I'll be super interested to see where everyone is.
Mm-hmm. And if anyone else is watching wearing a vest, please send a picture.
Yeah. What do you call that, Dean? Do you call that a vest, what you're wearing right now?
I call it a tank top.
Yeah.
But some people call it wife beaters, which is probably not the right term. That's more like a stringy one. But yeah, I call it I don't know. A vest was like vest and pants when I was like 4 in school. They're plimp soles. But this is like, just like a singlet. But I don't really use that term. I just call it like
a singlet. I feel like is a more of a female piece of clothing.
Okay, it's quite an Aussie term, right? The Aussies like singlet or sleeveless. Yeah, I don't have your pick. Take your pick.
Tank
I know,
top.
but I mean, we've got some like chest on display. I mean, that's raising temperatures right there, Dean.
Don't know. We'll see.
Let's see. How was your birthday? Whoa.
Yeah.
Back up a little bit. Happy birthday to one of the Freedom coaches, Dean. He's another year wiser, we're going to say. Because I can't even remember what are you, 32? 34? 34. That was a good
Yeah.
age. Wish I could remember it.
But it was weird because I shaved my beard today and it was like, whoa, this is weird. Do you have that, Jamie? You must have that as well. It's weird.
Yeah. I'm never shaving mine again, but yeah, when I used to, it was just like it just becomes a part of you. But
yeah, good birthday. Sorry, I've gone off topic. But it was a good birthday. Thank you very much.
How did you spend the day?
I spent a day with a super friend of mine, and we was on the beach just chilling. It felt like I was on holiday. It was very strange. We went to this really beautiful town, like scenic. We had paella and just watched the ocean. Yeah, it was a really stunning day, and then a few drinks in the evening. It was my first beer in 6 months, which was super interesting. And so falling off the wagon, but it was good. It was good while it lasted, but it's interesting now because I have a few beers and I fancy a Coke, even if I drink now. So it's kind of, I've changed. So it's pretty cool. But with the heat, I do fancy. I'm more of a shandy drinker. I like a shandy, which I get stick for, but who cares? I used to.
What's a shandy?
It's like beer and then like that much. So you got a pint and you got that like. I'd say 70% beer and then 30% lemonade. So refreshing. It's lovely.
Yeah. Nice.
The boys, it's not the lad's drink, but I don't really care. I used to order hot chocolate in the bar and get stick for it. So, you know what I mean?
Oh my God. When I was away with my girls and we'd be like on a girls' holiday, they'd be all there, drinking, doing their shots and whatever. And I'd order an Irish coffee and they'd be like, who the fuck are you? And why are you friends with us? And they took the mickey out of me for that for years, for like ordering an Irish coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes guts, though. Step away from the crowd and do because I guarantee there'd be people in that bar who probably don't even like beer that are drinking it because everyone else is drinking it. You know what I mean? That would be an interesting survey to see how many people actually like alcohol. Because I'll be honest, I don't really like it. I like it when it's mixed with Coke or when it's like cider and things like that. But generally, if someone gives me a shot, it's like, it's rotten.
How many times on your birthday? Yeah, how many times on your birthday do people order like the worst shot in the world for you? And like how many times are you just like drinking straight whiskey or stuff like that? It's weird how it's part of our culture to make somebody drink something that they don't like the taste of, or eat something you don't like the taste of.
Yeah, it's funny.
And it's always the worst one. They're like, "What don't you like? Let's get some black absinthe in, or like some sambuca, or."
Yeah, it's interesting though, because if you think about it, imagine going to it's a birthday party and buying the worst present in the world, wrapping it up and going, there you go. And they open it and go, I really wanted this, shoebox of broken glass.
That's going to make me feel sick in the morning and
So that's a weird it is a weird mentality. We're just bizarre people.
Totally. When I was at that pub last week for this, there was people having lunch there, and they were like, "Don't forget the shots for the table. It's his birthday," and it's like lunchtime shots, having lunch from work and stuff. So it's pretty fitting. I just saw that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
so should we crack on?
I think we should.
Let's crack on. Who's watching in the comments? We got many people watching today, or what's going on?
I'll have a look at my phone. See.
I don't know.
Our butchers. Who's in the house? Let's have a look. Ski.
So while you guys are looking at that, I'm going to talk about where this came from today, our question, because we were talking in the back room there, and it was funny the thought about how many hours we're willing to put in to work for somebody else. That's kind of where this stemmed from. It's like, again, this social norm that for most of the people out there in the world, it's very normal for us to go to work for 40 hours a week. And we're going to work for 40 hours a week for somebody else. And as soon as you ask somebody about how much time do you devote to yourself, to whether it get healthy, whether it's start a new job or do anything that you actually want to do to yourself. I know myself, I've never put 40 hours a week into myself like I do for somebody else. Like what I'd love to reframe this idea that I should wake up in the morning and be putting in that time for me, which is kind of what we're doing right now is we're devoting this time to the Freedom Coaches and spending this time together rather than going to work for somebody else. I think Kylie out of the three of us is the only one right now that has to still nose to the grindstone for somebody else. But yeah, it's a very crazy thought process to be like it's normal for you to put 40 hours in for somebody else, but then it seems very odd to do it for yourself. So
Yeah,
that's kind of the discussion we're going to have today.
yeah. So yeah, the people that are watching, do you feel like that? Do you feel that if an opportunity were to arise that you could work 40 hours for yourself, how would you feel about that? And would you actually dive into that and embody that? Because I feel that from my point of view that we're so programmed and conditioned in this way that if we come out of what we've known all our lives, pretty much from adulthood, it's almost like we feel lost. We feel guilty. We feel like we should be being told what to do or how to do it. So when you're like free on your own, you don't have that structure. That's gone. And you have to create your own. But with that, it's almost like starting again. And that employee mindset that we've talked about a few times, I feel is so ingrained in all of us that many of us would feel absolutely lost. And probably similar to you, Jamie, absolutely.
It's insane because we are so ingrained from that from like day one. Like as we're children, like most of our parents are waking up and going to work. And then all of a sudden we're waking up and going to school. And even before our first day of school, we're already programmed to be like, okay, so mom and dad don't necessarily like going to work. That means work is kind of like school for me. So I'm going to say I don't want to go to school. It's so unbelievable how that's just like subconsciously put in us just from our surroundings and what we watch. And I've been kind of like putting a little bit of effort in lately to thinking and reading things about how we are affected by others and the environment that we choose to be in. And it is so powerful because of that reason right there. You don't really need to if you're around a group of people that are like say negative, you don't even have to be negative to have that negativity kind of rubbing off on well, you or me or whoever. It's like our environment is so powerful in like how it can nurture or hinder us. And I think that kind of goes along with how we're conditioned. We don't necessarily need to believe that we're supposed to work 40 hours for somebody else, but if everybody else around us is like, that's what you do. You know what I mean? What about you, Kylie?
Well, think it's in the contract though, like over here. Like we have our contracts and we sign this piece of paper that not only am I going to do the 40 hours, but most contracts then have and whatever additional time is needed. Some of them might say ad hoc, you know, if there's a particular bigger project coming up, whatever. But we happily sign away that I'm going to give you 40 hours or 40 plus hours and are happy to make someone else rich. We're happy to feed someone else's pocket and not our, you know, not necessarily get the rewards that we should be for that. Like where, you know, entrepreneurs, hypothetically, you've got the time to invest in yourself, where we're talking about courses and the actual time that you're spending building your business, but you're obviously working whatever hours you want in order to give value and build what you want. And it's going in your pocket. But but you think like we happily sign that piece of us away. I'm going to work these hours, probably more than 40. And I'm going to be tired by the time I get home. And so most people, you've got children and you've got to come home and you've got a dinner to cook and you've got little people to look after. Or even if you haven't, you've still got to cook your own dinner. And maybe, you know, by the time you've got in from a commute and you're tired. So
and then you got one of these hanging on the wall.
Yeah. So where does the energy, the motivation the desire then come to spend that time looking out for you, in terms of spending time on you, building something for you, spending your time on a project for you? How, like, the hours that are needed, just it's.
Yeah. And that's the trap, right? That's the trap. And that's what happened with COVID. People stopped for the first time, other than Christmas or other public holidays. They stopped for months, and they had time that they wouldn't have necessarily had. So they had time to think, oh, this is not working for me. Oh, I didn't realize how unhappy I was in this part of my life and this and that. But I wanted to touch upon something, the rat race. And people talk about its modern day slavery. And I would argue that. I understand where they're coming from, but I disagree. Slavery means there's no choice. Slavery means that you're put in conditions that are unfavorable to you and horrific, that go against your rights and your being, right? You have no freedom. But we do. We have a choice. We, like Cardi said, we sign that paper. We sign away those hours. And I remember I was at one job, I'm not going to say where, but they came in and said, like, so if you're thinking about not putting in the hours or skiving, it doesn't matter if it's 15 minutes. If you take 15 minutes from what you're supposed to be doing at work, you're stealing, you're a thief, you're taking from the company. And they built this up, this bullshit kind of scare tactic to kind of make you feel bad, to get more out of you. Like you're some kind of machine, some robot. And they say, yeah, you steal 15 minutes, you're stealing from the company. It might as well be you stealing money from the safe. And I find that incredible. This is how low we've gone.
Totally. One of the things you said that really resonated with me about choice. Now imagine like this scenario where, so say we all start work at around 16 years of age. That's kind of like when you get your driver's license, or 18, somewhere in that. Now, the model right now that a lot of young people are told is that you better be in school, you better figure out what you want to do, and you better start that job because you're going to be doing it until you're 65. Like that's what my generation had. That's what it was supposed to be like, right? Now imagine this model if you were told, okay, what I want you to do is I want you to find a job that you're going to do for 5 years. Now you're going to get this job after school, get a good paying job, and you're going to save. Your job is going to be saving money for that 5 years. And after that 5 years, you're going to have enough money to invest in yourself and do whatever you want to do. If somebody would have told me that that was the model, rather than you're going to be working till you're 65 for your government to pay for your retirement, or and be like, no, you're going to have your nose to the grindstone, pick a job where you're going to learn some skills, and then you're going to transfer those skills into something that you're going to do yourself. Like that would have been so eye-opening, and being like, okay, so I started with 16, so then 5 years, I'm 21, and now boom, So that is a choice. You literally have that choice. But another thing too is going to school for however many years and then having to pay off school.
Yeah.
It kind of almost traps you.
Yeah.
And it's that thing about choice though. Like we use that term, I don't have a choice, so often in our current day and age. But as we've been sort of taught on our coaching journey, it's not that you don't have a choice, it's that the other option you don't really like, but it's still a choice. So you have a choice whether you're going to go work for someone else and make them rich and apply by their rules and wear yourself out and burn yourself out and not be able to do the things that you want at the end of the month because you're probably not getting a salary that necessarily reflects the work you are putting in. But the choice is to take a risk and invest in you and do something else. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that necessarily means that you have to go create your own business, but there is a choice there to go invest in you or spend hours doing something that you enjoy and build something up.
Yeah.
But that seems a bit too risky. Like, am I just wasting money? Or
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have the time. I'm too tired. Oh, I don't know. Like, what am I really going to do with this? It's the fact that we don't like that other choice, but we do have a choice.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. And I'd say to anyone, follow my lead and invest. That's the way. Invest. Got invest on.
What what is the
So,
number one thing you can invest in? The number one thing you can
You.
invest in is yourself. There's no other investment out there that's better than investing in yourself. And there's so many different ways you can invest in yourself through, and we're in this multimedia age of the internet and stuff like that, where we can find so much information and find so many different people and network with so many different people that we can find our tribe and those people that we resonate with and stuff like that. Yeah, another big thing too is investing in your health. That is so massive nowadays. Any of it. I've never heard anyone be upset when they like invested in, say, their body or their health or whatever, or their mind, read a book. Like, when's the last time you heard somebody complain about reading a book? Have you guys ever? Have you ever finished a book and been like, man, I wish I could get that. I wish I could get that back.
Look, but picking up on that, Jamie, think of it like this. So let's just use 40 hours as a round figure. We go to work, we spend 40 hours working for someone else. If you just spent a fraction of that time on you, so whether that was 20 hours or 10 hours a week, what you wouldn't normally be doing, imagine what you could achieve in those 10 hours a week, 20 hours a week. But let's use a simpler number. 10 hours a week, 10 additional hours a week, you're going to carve out to do something for you, whether that's a course or reading or research on something, whatever. But imagine what you're going to achieve in a month. You would have spent 40 hours on you. Like, the possibilities are endless.
yeah.
Like, the progression will be there for you to see, because week on week on week, that's another 10 hours that you wouldn't normally spend on you. Investing in you, doing something that you want to do, something that's fulfilling you.
I think the sum is the average person will work 90,000 hours in their lifetime.
Wow.
Oh, that makes me tired feeling of it.
90 hours.
And here's an interesting thing too, because I feel like I felt this way when people were telling me about investing in myself and doing things to like educate myself. I felt like I had to do it the way they were telling me. Like, so for example, I had to like read books or do a course or something like that. But say, for example, somebody loves watching TV. They love watching TV. Now say they're watching TV 40 hours a week, whatever. Take 10 of those hours and instead watch something on YouTube. Watch some educational video, or if that's the way you like getting your media into you or getting your education into you, stick with that. You know, it's like, for me, I was always trying to like, I mean, I don't necessarily like watching TV at all, but I enjoy watching videos and stuff a lot more than I do reading. And other people love reading. So pick your medium and do that. It's like, if you love reading books, then just instead of reading 4 fiction books, read 3 fiction books and read 1 self-help book or something like that. Like, it doesn't have to be as aggressive as like changing everything and changing your whole world. It's figure out what you really enjoy doing and just like take that medium and just start doing it for yourself and just educating yourself. I had a funny conversation with someone about video games lately, and I don't know if you remember this video game that came out a while ago. It was called like Guitar Hero, where you like had this fake guitar and it had like these fake buttons on it and stuff. And there's the amount of people that spent hundreds of hours on that game, hitting these buttons and playing this. If they would have actually put that time into learning a real musical instrument, they'd be a pretty good musician. So it was funny having that conversation and how amped people were on this video game, playing this video game, rather than putting it into playing a real musical instrument. And that's just kind of like, whatever, a side note. But if you enjoy playing games, then make learning a game. And like, we do it for kids, like we can do it for adults too, right?
I love that, Jamie.
Yeah, I found that interesting. Yeah, it's quite a good analogy link. But also as well is that the idea of sitting in a classroom, you know, being lectured, you know, by a teacher that stands up at the board, that doesn't really want to be there, that doesn't really teach what she does as a full-time job. and she tells you to turn to page 71, read it and write an essay. Those days are gone. Those days are gone. You know, that was my idea of learning. So for me to have the option of learning online in the comfort of my own home, I can get up, go to the toilet whenever I want. I get a drink, I get some food. I can pause it. I can go out, you know, do what I want to do. For me, online learning now it's just a game changer. It's just a game changer. And I can do it on the beach. It depends where I am and what I'm doing. If I'm talking, maybe it's different. But, you know, I could be sitting in the internet cafe. God, what rolling about the years there. In a cafe, just talking to you guys or talking to the world and like having a conversation. I mean, for me, the online world from someone that really didn't like school has been a game changer for me.
Yeah, but that's a really great message, Dean, because I wonder whether some people feel like I've worked all day, I've come home, I'm tired, I just want my dinner, I just want to loaf on the sofa, and the amount of like energy and what's going to be required of me to do a course, for example, it's just too much right now. When actually, like, courses have completely changed, and the energy and what's required of you and the push and the start button, like you can start that on the tube on your commute to work if really necessary. And but it doesn't have to be this onerous, tedious, dull, heavy task anymore. It's as fun as, like, going back to what Jamie was saying too, it's as fun as you make it. And there's plenty of institutions out there that recognize that and want to make like online learning as fun and as interactive and as easy as possible.
Totally. Well, that's the thing too, is what got us here, and like the courses we took, the number one thing that I heard from everybody was the energy. That came out of the course. And it's like a lot online learning used to be back in the day, like somebody sitting there in a suit, a tie, all proper, nice, everything white, and they're like, I'm going to deliver you a course on how to catch a fish, and just like very strict. Nowadays, it's like you grab your iPhone, you go down to the river in the nice mountains, you're going like, okay, guys, I'm going to show you how to catch a fish right now. And you're like, it's interactive. You can like do it. It's such a different way of learning right now. And the thing with COVID is it really brought this to the mainstream, where, I mean, it should have been being done since the internet came out in whatever, the early 90s, but it's now people are like, oh wow, like everyone's on their phones, your phone's always there, you can like literally be like, I'm doing, and knowing that too, that there's something out there that you're doing right now that you think is so easy that somebody else has no idea how to do it, and you could be teaching that. That's the biggest thing. And then also teaching what we're passionate about. Like, you don't want to go and teach somebody something that you hate, because that energy is going to come across that way. You want to be talking about that thing that you can spend hours talking about because you love it, because then that energy is going to come out that way, and that other person is going to get that stoke, and they're going to be like, yeah, this is good. This is real good. So that's a big thing about online learning, is a lot of people are like, oh, but I hear this as an excuse a lot. They're like, I don't like being online because I miss that connection, like what you feel like in the real world. And it's like, I feel like that's just an excuse. Like,
well, look at us, for example. We've actually, Dee mentioned this the other week, we have never physically met. Yet you two, if anyone asked me without a second thought, no hesitation, I would say are two of my bestest friends and your business partners. We've created a business together. And I've never physically been able to give you a great big bear hug. But that hasn't stopped our connection and what the community that we met in, the buzz that's in that community, and what we hope to create others. That hasn't stopped anything.
Exactly. And do you think if we all met, do you think we'd be surprised how the others' actions and stuff? Yeah, right? Like, I'm not going to be surprised. Like, it's like, oh, Dean's totally different than I thought. It's like, no, I know Dean. I know Kylie. Like, we spend enough time together. You know what I mean? I've spent more time with you guys in the last 6 months than I have with lots of my closest friends. And it's like, the big reason behind that is because we have a schedule. We meet up at least 1 hour a week, and it was so nice to just have that and foster that. And it's like something I've always wanted to bring into my real world, where it's like, I want to meet up with my real friends and have a sort of schedule like that too, right? Because even one of my closest friends I talked to the other day, and they were just like, we don't get to spend enough time together. And I'm like, well, we live in the same city, just drop in and say, hey. And they're like, there's just different forms of communication in different ways that each one of us wants to connect. So I think that's the biggest thing for having a relationship is just having some sort of commitment to each other. And whether it's online or in person, I still feel like you get the same thing. Like we don't get to touch each other and give each other big bear hugs, but it's like that's only one small part of making a connection, I feel. So I think the online world is amazing.
And even this is us investing in ourselves and putting the hours into ourselves. You know, we've minus the fact that we've got our business together, but when we just come together to talk, we're talking about maybe obstacles or frustrations that have come up during the week and like talking it out. We're talking about the good things and championing each other and supporting each other and learning from each other. So just even spending time with those connections and spending time having that communication is a form of investing. It's not just entertainment or being social.
Mm-hmm.
There's such benefits from it.
Yeah, and it's weird because like I used to think like when like you hear of people that have never met and then they get married, they met online and stuff, I used to think, wow, that's pretty out there. That's really out there. And maybe that's a little step further because of obviously the intimacy, but it's, I mean, what are feelings, right? They're just electrical impulses. Why do you have to be there in person? It's such a weird way of thinking. It's like thinking before the science books realize what our brains were doing, you know? Because what is a feeling? It's just an electrical impulse.
Yeah. I can get just as excited. I mean, you guys have seen me when I get really excited. It's like my hands are going off, my hat's coming off, things are going crazy. But I think it's an awesome tool and an awesome way to connect with people. But you're right, Dean, hearing it back in the past where it's like, oh yeah, we met online. Oh yeah, we met here. This is different than what I thought it was, right? Meeting online I always thought was just typing to one another and stuff like that. But this is
I mean, I guess technology's played a part of that, because if you said this 10 years ago, I've met these two dudes on an online chat room and I've decided to set up a business with them, I'm sure people would have been like, should we lock you up? Should we like restrain you from using your laptop?
He's not the Prince of Nigeria, is he?
But it's a different world now.
Yeah, it's really different.
Yeah.
So different.
Yeah. So one thing I want to touch on before we finish this up is, what are some of the simple things that you can do to adjust that mindset of how it's normal to work for somebody else, but it seems like almost guilty to work for yourself? What are some of the things, Kylie, that you found for yourself that helped you make that adjustment?
I guess without getting too deep and meaningful, I guess it's actually probably analysing, why am I doing this? Like, why am I going to work? Why am I doing this job? Especially, I mean, obviously, if you love your job, this is a completely different subject. But if you're in a spot where you're not fulfilled, you're not happy, you're miserable, potentially stressed, burnt out, could lead to like mental health issues. If that's the situation that you're in, evaluate why you're doing this. Why are you staying at that job? Why do you keep to continue to do this to yourself? Is it because you're there for the financial reasons? Is it because you deem that's just all you're worthy of? Yeah. And then work out what you do want. Like, write a little list. And people probably think I'm obsessed with lists, but there is a reason. Like, that pen to paper is really powerful. But write down, or it could be out loud, whatever's best form for you. But what you want. What do you really want to be doing? What do you really want to be achieving? How do you really want to be spending your time? Like, if there was no obstacles, nothing to worry about, no one else to consider, how would you genuinely be spending your time?
Yeah. No, those are amazing questions and simple answers. Dean, what about you, man? What are some of your keys to changing that mindset from that 9 to 5 worker to doing what you want to do, or actually at least finding out what you want to do?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I feel there's a lot of guilt in there. It's almost like guilty for investing or putting time in yourself as opposed to others, or an organization or a company or whatever the case may be. And I think we're so hardwired and programmed this way that it's very difficult to untangle all those years of programming.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say give yourself time. You deserve some space. You deserve some R&R, however you want to spend that time. But give yourself that window, because you're just caught up in the rat race.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be that you're trapped in it financially, but you could be trapped in it emotionally. You could be trapped in it that this is all you've known. And, I feel so sorry for a lot of people. It's not pity or anything like that, but I just wish, like, if I could just pass on one thing, is like, look beyond the curtain, because that time is valuable. It's not coming back. Use it. And, it's not about being selfish. It's just using it for yourself, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. That's what I would say.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's a good saying too at the end. You can't pour from an empty cup. I've always been like, the most important thing you can do for anybody else is take care of yourself. If all of us on this planet took care of ourselves and really truly worried about our well-being, then we wouldn't have to take care of anybody else. If all of us are always worrying about somebody else and what somebody else is doing, and all of that, which the world is crazy about, always worrying about other people, then you're not really taking care of yourself. Once you're happy, those around you are going to be happy. The biggest thing, I always lean on this one for me, is having your tribe, finding the people you need to connect with. It's so powerful. Having you guys has been like so important for me, and having a very strong relationship, building a strong relationship with my girlfriend doing this is like so important. It's just trying to surround yourself with like-minded people. How many times have we come on in our back rooms here and complain? Like, how many times? Like, even if there's something going on wrong in our lives, the three of us don't complain about it. We talk about it and we try and help each other out. And it's like, I can honestly say it's the most refreshing group that I can be in sometimes, because I'm used to that 9 to 5 work mentality where you go there and those people that you connect with at work, you're just sounding boards to complain about what's going on at work or in your life or whatever. But there's no real constructive way or criticism to like get out of it. It's just normal to come in and complain about it. So for me, that's the biggest thing in changing mindset, is surrounding yourself with those people that you resonate with and that are also going in the same direction as you. I think that's the most important thing to get in that mindset.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good way to wrap up, I think.
Yeah, cracking advice.
But big news on the horizon, huh? We still can't talk about it, but
you're just teasing them now, Dean.
Yeah.
He's got his low-cut top on and he's being all flirtatious. And he's just getting a
peacocking.
Yeah.
So what we're saying, Friday, big announcement. It's Friday. It's going to be
Friday.
So stay tuned.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty awesome. So, as usual, stay connected with us. Reach out to any of us, social media, however you want. If you want to ask one of us something, all of us something, you got something to say, leave comments, do all that good stuff. And stay tuned here Friday for our massive announcement.
It's going to be huge.
Awesome. Okay, guys, we will see you on Friday.
Bye, everyone.
Adios.